Hi, I'm Loretta Herring. I'm managing editor of the Capital newspaper here in Annapolis, Maryland. We provide something that people can't get elsewhere, and that is that local news. We really stress the importance of the local government. We stress the importance of, what is important in people's lives: sports, activities, schools, the things that your kids do, the things that are important to your family, the things that everybody can relate to. We always struggle to try to find a balance because some people do use us as their only source for news. So we do provide some national and international news, but we have the Washington Post and the Baltimore Sun, two major metros right in our backyards. They can provide the coverage for the national and international stories that we can't. So we go for that local news. We look at the angle and try to get down to how it affects you in Anne Arundel County. And we also try to provide something that everybody complains that those national newspapers don't provide, and that's good news. The job of a managing editor really changes day to day. It's my responsibility to make sure that the content of the newspaper is what my readers want. So every day I'm trying to balance out what stories are out there and what resources that I have. Trying to make sure that my reporters are doing their duties in developing their sources and writing accurate stories, and that we're getting those stories that are going to be of most importance and most interest to our readers. And then, of course, I have to make sure we're meeting our deadlines and making our budget, and then taking phone calls if you have people are happy with stories that we've written or people who might be unhappy with stories that were written. They don't have to agree with what we're writing, but we want to make sure that all our reporters are being fair and accurate, make sure that they're not swaying the news by ignoring certain areas of coverage, making sure that we're all looking into every news lead that we get, making sure also that the reporters are getting the different staff are getting the type of mentoring and direction that they need. And one of the things that I always talk to the young journalists who come here, and some people don't understand the concept of community journalism, and that's what we practice here, is that we're not going to change the world maybe with a Pulitzer Prize winning story, but you're going to change some person's world, probably in a better way with a lot of these stories, and that they look at it for a smaller world as opposed to the greater world, and they're really still doing a lot of good, even though they might not be uncovering a huge Watergate scandal, but they might be doing just the same amount of good, just on a much smaller level. One of the benefits that the journalists coming out of the schools now have over some of the journalists who have been in the industry is the fact that they are being trained in many of the different aspects of which journalism has taken these days. In the old days weren't so long ago, a reporter wrote a story, and that was what they did. They wrote a version for the print, and that was all they needed to do. Now a reporter is often, and at our paper is a perfect example, a reporter might be asked to take photos, a reporter might be asked to write video. We have some reporters that do blogs. We haven't gotten into tweeting yet as a part of the paper, that we do have a couple of reporters who do that on their own as well if there's certain cases where they think that it's beneficial. So to have the training in that technology is a very important thing, because really the most valuable journalist to us these days is the multifaceted journalist, because anytime you can capture somebody's interest somehow, you have a better chance as a journalist. One of the things that we're struggling with is how to attract readers and keep readers, and what we need to do. And the print product for too long has just stayed the same way. Everybody, you wrote a story, you put it down, you said this is what you need to know, read it and learn from it. And we realize now that people don't respond that way anymore. So multimedia is really where it's at, and we try to throw as many things at them as we can.